Hello, beautiful mamas, and welcome to the Unstoppable Mom Summit, where we're going to help you step up, break through, and thrive. And today I am super excited because I have a lady on here who is just doing two things that you can do. Now, I don't know about you, but I used to follow a lot of men in business, and they would tell you to just leave everything, stop everything, be by yourself. And one day I thought to myself, why do I have to do that? Why can't I have both? And I have a lady here today who's going to show you how you can have both, which is beautiful. So she's going to show you how to be a mompreneur and how to take care of yourself and your kids, your family at the same time. So let's welcome Miss Angela.
Thank you so much, Denise. I love your energy. I love your passion for helping women, level up their lives. And thank you so much for inviting me.
I thank you so much for being here. So, before we get started, I would love to hear just a little bit of your story.
Oh, so I think the short story is that my family is really what kind of pushed me into being an entrepreneur and wanting to have more fun. During COVID, like towards the end, my daughters had returned to their dance activities, and I was working so much that I knew something had to change. Like they were breaking, I was breaking, I wasn't showing up for them the way I wanted to, and I needed to have more fun. And I had always been a travel expert because I was a military spouse and traveled so much. And I listened to the calling for people saying, you need to start a travel agency. So I did that towards the end of COVID because I was an expert and there were all these travel restrictions and people were afraid to live their lives and travel again. And I wanted to help them do that. And so I did that. And other moms were just like, oh my God, who do you think you are? Like, how did you do this? And I realized that starting a business is not really the hard part. Like, it's easy to set up an LLC and get your tax ID and all those things. It is the inner barriers that hold us back from pursuing our dreams and really developing ourselves so we are there not only for ourselves, but we show up better as mothers and partners. And so starting a business is really one small part of the journey. And so I then started leaning into helping other women do the same. And I was having this beautiful experience about learning more about myself, accepting myself, you know, accepting my gifts and sharing those and having an impact and starting a podcast that's now in the top 5 of all mom entrepreneur podcasts in the world, top 10% of all podcasts in the world. And I mean, I just want to share that if I could do it, you could do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful. There was my emotions there. No, that is so beautiful because so first off, thank you for sharing that story because I feel like there are other moms out there who have that story where at least they have a story where they're like, I'm ready to start, but I don't know what to do. Like, how do I get over
Mhm.
myself? So
Right.
I guess my question is, how in the world did you like break free from you? Because it's always like you said, the inner barrier that's keeping you back.
Mhm. Yeah, we also had some unexpected events that happened to us in 2019. My husband was unexpectedly just let go from his job. And we had done all of the things in life. We'd gotten the degrees, we had been reliable employees, and all of the things. And none of the things that we expected to get in exchange for that seemed like we could rely on. I wanted to create my own opportunities. I no longer wanted to rely on others for my future. And so it was that just desire to stop waiting on other people that just pushed me through.
Oh, that's
And,
so good.
as a mom to girls, I wanted to set an example for them. Like, I didn't want to just say, you can do whatever you want.
I love that. I love that because what it sounds like you're saying is that you have to have a reason for why you're doing something. Like it's okay to just say, "Oh, I want to do something," but when you have a reason for it, it changes
Yeah.
everything. It
You
changes
have
everything.
to decide. You have to decide. It's not just your passion. Like, you have to say, "This is what I am doing. This is who I am going to be." Like, you have to be that person.
Oh, I love that. And oh my gosh. Okay, so I was thinking a lot of us, when we want to do things, oftentimes, or when we want to become a certain person, oftentimes
Mhm,
we continue living the same way we've been living.
mhm,
So, wouldn't you say that it makes more sense to start living like the person that you're trying to become? Would that be a good
mhm.
step towards becoming that mompreneur, the one who can tackle business and family?
Yep.
Not in a bad way, though.
Right, and I think so often we think of, like, okay, that means I gotta run out and buy the Mercedes, or I've gotta live in the mini mansion. What it really means is examining how you're spending your time. Do millionaires sit and watch, you know, garbage all day? Do they sit and watch drama on TV? No. Do they eat terrible? Do they eat McDonald's every day for lunch, or do they eat fast food? Or do they give themselves nourishment that helps them have the energy to go all day and do the things they want to do? Do they
Oh,
stay up late and get just a few hours sleep and try to make it through the day? No, they prioritize their sleep. They prioritize their time. Do they hang out with people that make them feel like garbage and don't support them? No, they don't.
that is so good.
So it is all of those many things. Do they take care of themselves? How do they live in their daily life?
That is so good because, and I like what you said because oftentimes there are a lot of people I've noticed, especially in the field of faith, and they would pray for favor. And yes, favor is good, but I believe that sometimes we must have wisdom if we're
Yeah,
going to even have favor. And that
right,
wisdom is to rest, feed our bodies, like you said, things that are going to help
right.
us. Our bodies, our
Yeah,
minds, even our emotions, all
right.
of the things. So I
Yeah,
want to ask, now that we know that, okay, now we need to put in ourselves what we want to come out. But here's the thing,
yes.
what if there's a mom who's wrestling with guilt around it? She's like, well, instead of
Mhm,
sleeping, I should do business, or instead of business, I should be with my kids and just trying to figure it all out. What
mhm.
advice would you give her?
I think the best antidote to mom guilt is to, one, realize the impact you're having on your children by pursuing your dreams. And they may not even, um, say something to you like they think what you're doing is amazing. They see it. Talk to your children about it. Talk to your children about how you're feeling. Talk to your family about how you're feeling. And there have been times when I realize my kids are getting stressed, I need to make more time for them. There is no balance when it comes to working or having a business. And you have to lean in different directions at different times, depending on what is calling your attention. But two, you know, I I don't think I think you need to we all tell ourselves a story about what we think of ourselves and what we think we can accomplish. So what is the story that you're telling yourself about why you feel guilty? Right? So, are you feeling guilty because you have this story in your head that good moms don't work or aren't successful? You need to look at that. And why is that? Is it the truth?
Oh, that's so good.
Are you not taking care of yourself? Are you not giving yourself enough time? So you really have to create some white space in your calendar to reflect and to think about why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. And you also got to put some fun in there. You can't just work 24/7. And so I love helping families get connected and find fun and, spend some time together.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. So I
Oh, I
love
have
how
one
you
more thing.
okay,
Sorry.
go for it. No, go for
The
it.
other thing that consistently comes up on the podcast, and I feel too, is like what really helps with the guilt is if you're trying to be all things to all people at one time, you cannot do that. You have to be present in the moment with what is calling your attention. So if
Ooh.
you were talking to your kids about their day and their homework, don't be answering emails about business, you know? So you might be causing your own mom guilt. Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Oh my gosh. So you're speaking my language because that was me. I was the one trying to do it all, trying to take care of the
Mhm.
business stuff, trying to take care of the kids at the
Yeah.
same time, watching TV with the kids, watching a movie, and over here typing away, creating my next offer. It's just, it's
Mhm.
crazy. But the fact
Yeah.
that we have to figure out what our story is and be present, like the being
Yeah.
present part is the big part. Like be fully present with your kids, be fully present with your business, and you don't have to do it all at the same time. And
Yeah.
one thing you were talking about the story, and it reminded me of a post that I posted today. And I think it was me giving moms permission to stop picking a fight with themselves because oftentimes
Mm.
the thoughts we have, they create fights within our own self,
We will bully ourselves at the first opportunity.
and is that not crazy? Like that's crazy. And I believe as mompreneurs, when we do that, we often block some of our own growth, and we often
100%.
block those moments of being present. It's harder to be present when you're having an internal fight with yourself.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like a good example of this, like I have been very little on social media lately just because I've had so much going on in my personal life that it takes from my energy. And that's okay. Like if people don't follow me anymore or whatever, like my kids and my sanity at home come first. It's my daughter's last month of high school. She's
Aw.
turning 18. We're moving. It's like recital time. It's all the things right now for us. And social media is just not like I don't think the end of the world is going to come if I don't post very much lately.
No, that's the truth. I love it. I
And
love it
yet
because
I used to beat myself up. Like, "Oh, I missed a day. Oh my god." Like nobody notices. Like
thank you for bringing that up because I believe a lot of us feel as if we have to be on social media all of the time. And I believe to me, it almost feels like social media is almost like a chain. It's just like it's holding us there
Yeah,
and we can't get away.
yeah,
And I don't believe well, part of me believes that causes us to beat ourselves up. That's one of the things.
right.
But it also keeps us from being able to move forward in what we know that we are capable of doing.
Yeah. Yeah. You
'Cause I'm
it's
like you.
like, do you think you're really capable of doing whatever it is that you're beating yourself up about? And if not, why not?
Oh, that's so good.
You
Asking
know?
yourself better questions.
Yeah. 100%.
I love that. So let me ask this. What are, because based off what you said, a lot of this starts
Mhm.
in the mind. So, what are
Yeah.
some common mindset shifts that moms who want to be mompreneurs, what are some they need to make when transitioning from just being a caregiver to also being
Mhm.
a CEO or a business builder?
Yeah, I think the number one for most people, and this probably was certainly one for me, is just the perfectionism. Like, we have to stop trying to be perfect. One, there's no such thing. And in Hollywood, if they want an audience to dislike a character, they make them perfect.
Ooh.
So we actually don't want to be perfect because that's going to give us the opposite of what we want, is to be liked. Right? We're all just wanting to be liked and accepted, like we're all in a big high school again.
Wow. Oh
And,
my
honestly, perfectionism is just a trauma response most of the time. We're probably coming from a place where we were criticized if we didn't dress a certain way, or we didn't get the perfect grades, or we didn't say things a certain way, or we didn't act a certain way in front of our parents or our family, right? And so we're not that little kid anymore. We're adults. We get to make our own life and set our own stage. And so perfectionism is probably one of the biggest things. Like, there's no perfect time, there is no perfect situation. Like, you just have to start. And I loved it. I had a guest on the podcast this week who is a multimillionaire, who has a company that has hosted $100 million events. And
wow.
she, as a single mom, built this company and said, if you are not embarrassed by your first iteration of what you put out there as an entrepreneur or a business, something is wrong. Like, you're waiting too long. So I'm
Ooh.
giving everybody permission to be embarrassed. Like, who cares? Who cares? Does that other person, and if you don't take advice or care what anybody thinks, that you wouldn't want to change lives with them. Like, if it's not somebody that you want to change lives with, like, forget it. Who cares? Keep going. But perfectionism is a really big one. And then, very closely related to that, is boundaries,
Ooh.
and making sure you have boundaries in place for your time, for your energy, for your resources, for, if you're not in a reciprocal relationship with your friends or your family or clients, like, you have to make a change. You have to limit or exclude them. Like, you have to take care of you. And
Ooh.
then, it it is. And three, I think, you know, you really have to get over the scarcity of time, the scarcity of money, the scarcity of creativity, all of the scarcity that is, we tend to just co-sign, that we're worried about. I don't have enough of this. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough, whatever it is. And it creates this sense of fear, and it creates a sense of lack, and we have to remind ourselves, or take time to be present in nature or with our families, to remind us of all the abundance. Have something to remind you, pictures, something that reminds you of the abundance of goodness that's just waiting for you. We're inherently abundant, yet our whole lives we seem to back away from that. you know
So true.
yeah, and think, a couple of other things that come to mind, this mind shift that everybody has got it together and knows what they're doing, and you don't. Like, nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody. Somebody is just maybe a little further along in their journey, or it's just so silly, and it doesn't matter. It just doesn't.
I love
And
that. Oh, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
yeah, no, I mean, I was thinking that there was one more that I wanted to mention. Um, but just, I think one of the other things that women really tend to not do, just because of their conditioning, is learn how to fill their cup up first,
Ooh.
to take care of their family and to take care of all of the other things. It sounds cliche, But if you are trying to serve others with an empty cup, it's just not going to work. And it doesn't take a fancy, expensive spa day. It doesn't take, you can do things like go for a walk or just do nothing and sit and do nothing. That is such a luxury. When I go on vacation, I do nothing. Like, I don't look at my phone. I don't, like, nothing. I'm not on, I'm not trying to set another goal to like read a book or anything. Like, it is nothing. And not doing nothing can be very productive.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. So, first off, I want to make sure no one's missing this. So, there are
Mm.
four things that you said that stood out to me. And you told our mamas, and I hope that they heard this, but if not, I'm going to say it again. Perfectionism is a thief of what you can be.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
that was something that I had to deal with. I'm trying to get rid of perfectionism. Like, first off, I was a teacher. I never wanted to be a teacher before doing this. And then when I started to do this, I didn't want to be on podcasts. I didn't want to be on YouTube. I didn't want my face anywhere. But I just decided one day, okay, just press record. Who knows what could happen, you know? So I went
Yeah.
out there and I did it. And yes, I had to create boundaries. I had to let people know, hey, I can't do this anymore. Instead of Netflixing and chilling, I decided to network and build, you know, had to make some
Yeah.
changes. And instead of scarcity, like you said before, like I would have to wake up every morning and think about, okay, what is this abundance I'm living in right now? What am I grateful for? What's happened to me that I'm overlooking, you know? And then
Yeah.
filling myself up first before I do anything every morning. I make sure that it's just me. Even if I'm just laying there meditating, if I just go and take me a warm bath before I go get my kids, I make sure I take that time for me. And I even ask my kids sometimes, hey, is it okay for me to take care of me right now? Because sometimes, they don't think about that, because we're always doing for them, always giving
Oh, yeah.
into them. Yeah.
And you're teaching them to take care of themselves.
Yes.
Like, I
Yes.
didn't have that. Like, my mom at times worked 3 jobs,
Oh,
to make ends meet or whatever. I don't know. And for me, I definitely have to watch it. I will be a workaholic. I will just sit and work and work and work. Like, yeah.
that is that's crazy because I believe as moms, we feel like there's always so much to be done. And we know
Mhm.
that we can do it. So sometimes we just say, okay, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it until we burn
Mhm.
ourselves out.
Yeah. Oh.
But like you said before, sometimes we just have to do nothing. And doing nothing can
Mhm.
sometimes feel hard, but it is so rejuvenating. Like sometimes I'll find a spot on the wall that one of my kids left on the wall. And I'll just stare at it for as long as I can.
I love that.
and, and it works. Like whatever, just find something to stare at, or find, for example, there was a one point in my life, or my kids' lives growing up, where they became little Picassos around the house. So there's always something to look at.
Mhm. Yeah.
So as we finish up, I do want to know: is there one other thing that's just sitting in your heart that you feel like you need to tell the mama?
Yeah, I think, well, I'm also a Reiki practitioner in my entrepreneurial journey. I have learned about how important our own energy is. And we all have an energetic body, we all have an energetic field. Like right now, you and I, our energies are exchanging. It meets people in person up to 10 feet before we actually physically make contact. So I just want people to understand that everything we do in our lives has a practical aspect and it has an energetic aspect, and how the intention behind what we create as parents, as entrepreneurs, it is so important. I'm not sure if you're,
I'm
oh no.
here, but for some reason
Yeah.
it took me away. There we go.
Yeah, so I think that is one takeaway that I really also want, because we focus on the strategy, we focus on the doing
Oh
and
yeah.
not the being And how am I showing up? Like, we can really, it's so easy to be the victim in life and business. Like, why is this happening to me? But when we examine how we're showing up, like how are we doing things? How are we participating in our reality? It's so important and it shifts everything. And how we can change our own energy to invite into our lives all that we want in it. It's just so important.
Oh, that's so good. It's so good. And I'm so glad you said that because a lot of people do not understand the power, especially as moms, we don't understand the power of our energy. It can
Yeah.
shift everything. Like I can come home and my kids are with my husband and they're just all over the place. And I'll just come in and keep my calm energy and 9 times out of 10 what happens is they also calm down.
Yeah.
Because like you said before, your energy precedes you.
Mhm. Yeah,
It comes
it
with
really
you.
does.
So I thank you for that. So I do want
Mhm.
to ask you, how can the mamas stay in touch with you, especially the ones who feel like, oh my gosh, I love her energy and I love what she can possibly do to help me change my life. How can they
Yeah.
stay in touch with you?
Yeah, well, I know that I've created a free little guide for you on overcoming perfectionism. And if I don't know if I've ever talked to another mom or another woman who hasn't nodded when we talk about perfectionism.
Oh yeah.
It is, we all deal with it. We all struggle with it. And it's something you constantly, some days I'll be like, did I not post that because I was trying to make it perfect, or whatever the thing is. So I have that download that your listeners and viewers can download, and that's a great place to connect. You can listen and follow to the Good Enough Mompreneur podcast, where I have CEOs of multi-billion-dollar companies to moms who have just started a podcast or just started a small business that has flourished. Or, I talk to a range of women who are doing lots of different things. We talk about holistically, not just business, but parenting, relationships, and how we can be better partners, how we can take care of ourselves better. I mean, I am so privileged and blessed to, and glad that I pressed record on those first episodes. And we're almost at 200 episodes. I'm already, by February, I was already booked for the entire 2025 season. So,
Wow. That's
and
amazing.
I'm already booking for 2026. So, I mean, I'm just so grateful. I mean, I have sisters who came together and created a business to help, learn math during COVID. And I mean, they're just doing amazing and have created this great community empowering kids to learn math
That's so
in New
good.
York. And I'm just like, I'm just so floored. So, if you would love to hear stories like that, tune into the podcast. We have a new episode every week. And then I do solo episodes about things that I learn and things that are going on in my life and all the good stuff. And then you can also check me out at mombusinesscoach.com and see all my social links because my last name is super complicated. So, yeah, so the podcast, the download, and go to mombusinesscoach.com.
Awesome. Look, thank you so much. And mamas,
Yes.
please know all of her information is right below this video. You'll be able to find all of those things. And first off, I just want to say, Miss Angela, you have my heart. You
Aw.
have it.
Yeah, I know. You and I really connected. As soon as I started talking with you, our energies, I was like, yes, she's like a good person that we want to be connected with and happy to support and be part of your event. So thank you so much for inviting me. It's an honor and a privilege, and I'm so glad it's just part of my journey.
Oh, thank you so much. I am too. And I'm just so thankful
Yeah,
that you were able to say yes to this because, like you said, you are a
yeah.
busy lady.
I am, but you make time for the things that count.
Oh,
So, yeah.
yes. Oh. Amen to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Thank you so much,
So
Denise.
you are so welcome. So, beautiful mamas, we're going to end it right here because we know how important your time is. But please go check out Miss Angela. She's giving you her information and it's all here below. But in the meantime, we thank you so much for joining us in this session. And don't forget, I love you to life. And I'll see you next time.